If you are watching this video, the chances are high that you are experiencing the gritty, sandy sensation in your eyes, and intuitively, you would think you have dry eyes. But contrary to some people's belief, dry eyes might not be because your eyes are not producing enough tears. For today's video, let's continue our discussion on the evaporative form of dry eye, and this is actually the dry eye that most people suffer from. That's today's video. Let's take a look. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This channel dedicates to providing you with the most up-to-date eye care information to safeguard your sight and overall health. If you are here, consider subscribing so you won't miss any of my future videos. You can also recommend this video to people around you if you find it helpful. This video is a part of the Complete Dry Eye series, and in my previous videos, we have discussed the basic structure of tear film, the lacrimal apparatus, and the aqueous deficient form of dry eye. If you haven't watched them, you can review those after this one so you can have a better picture of what dry eye is. Alright, let's get into today's topic. Patients can produce enough tears on their own when it comes to the evaporative form of dry eye, but their tears are evaporating from the surface of the eye too quickly. This form of dry eye is very concerning for eye care professionals because it affects older people, but it also starts to show up in younger people. Even I myself suffer from a little bit from an evaporative dry eye because of how much close work I've been doing. Let's go through some of the common causes of evaporative dry eyes. One major cause of the evaporative form of dry eye is environmental factors. We are talking about humidity, temperature, and airflow. Dry eyes are especially prevalent in winter, not because your eyes are not producing enough tears, but because in winter, the weather is usually windy, and the air is cold and dry. So your eyes lose moisture due to evaporation. Making the matter worse, most people have heaters in the room, and when heaters are turned on, eyes will dry out even quicker. Airflow. If you have an air conditioner on, tears will again evaporate quicker, leading to dryness. Another example would be people sleeping with a sleep-app machine for sleep apnea. The device will constantly blow air into the eyes for the whole night and dry out your eyes. For the next one, I would like everybody to listen up, and if you only learn one thing from this video, I want it to be this. Poor blinking rate and eyelid closure are the most common causes of dry eyes in younger people. In daily activities, we typically blink around 15 to 20 times a minute. When we are sitting down working on a laptop or reading a book, we involuntarily blink only about 5 times a minute. If we don't blink frequently, we don't produce enough meibum, which makes up the lipid layer of the tear film that prevents tear from evaporating. In addition to poor blinking rate, sometimes people don't close their eyelids completely when they blink. Their eyelids only come to the center of the pupil and not all the way down. In this way, the brain thinks you are blinking, but ensures you have left around a third of your eyelids open. Poor blinking results in a poor distribution of tear film, leading to evaporative dry eye. So, if you are working in front of a laptop, constantly remind yourself to blink more frequently, and of course, blink all the way down to the lower eyelid. In addition, many computer screens nowadays are very modern and large. If you are the kind of person who sits in front of a laptop all day, then you are either staring straight or looking up to the computer. In this way, your eyes are fully open and come to more contact with the air. You can lift your seat and lower your computer screen so that you are looking down. This will allow your eyelid to close down a little and reduce tear evaporation. Some people even have trouble closing their eyelids while sleeping, which we call lagosomos. In other words, your eyes just remain open for the entire night, and once you wake up in the morning, you have that burning sensation in your eyes. It almost feels like your eyelids are stuck together with your eyeballs. Now, let's briefly talk about blepharitis. Blepharitis is inflammation of the eyelids and usually affects both sides along the edges of the eyelids. Blepharitis can lead to evaporative dry eye. If you go to an eye checkup, your doctor will look at the bases of the eyelashes and see if there are any deposits. Sometimes bacteria might live there, and they can irritate the eye, making your eyes drier. The next one we have is what we call meibomian gland dysfunction. The meibomian glands are the tiny oil-secreting glands resting in your eyelids. Every time you blink, the oil from these glands will mix with the tears and prevent them from evaporating. In meibomian gland dysfunction, the meibomian glands are blocked for some reason, and they don't secrete as much oil as they should. Without these oils, your tears begin to evaporate much more quickly. In fact, science shows that over 80% of dry eye patients have some form of meibomian gland dysfunction. One common reason for blocked meibomian gland is poor eyelid closure. If you don't blink all the way down, the oil can sit in the eyelids, solidify, and clog up the meibomian glands. When your meibomian glands are plugged, you should get them treated as soon as possible because clogged up meibomian glands will begin to atrophy and die off. Meibomian glands cannot be regenerated, and you will end up with this chronic, evaporative dry eye. We have gone through some of the common causes of aqueous deficient and evaporative dry eye. Keep in mind, however, that you can have both at the same time. For example, it is possible to have poor tear production alongside meibomian gland dysfunction. Unfortunately, treatments for dry eyes are usually unsatisfactory. The reason that makes dry eyes so hard to treat is that you can enter a vicious cycle. As mentioned in the previous videos, the aqueous component of tear film contains salt. In the early stages of dry eye, tears evaporate, but the salt content stays behind. The hyperosmolarity of tear film leads to inflammatory responses on the eye surface, damaging the cornea. The damaged cornea becomes less sensitive, and you start to have fewer stimuli going up to the brain, which signals the lacrimal gland to produce tears. Over time, you produce fewer tears, and then the cycle continues. So yes, treating dry eyes is challenging, and it is not a small deal. Depending on the specific type of dry eye, treatment should be individualized, and doctors should identify the root cause of your dry eye before proceeding to treatment. Dry eye syndrome is a complicated disorder with many possible causes, and treatment is not just about using artificial tears. For example, if you have the evaporative form of dry eye, then using artificial tears may provide temporary relief, but it will not help you in the long run. In fact, long-term use of artificial tears will build up your dependence on them. Your brain will mistakenly assume that your lacrimal glands produce enough tears and begin to slowly suppress their functions, worsening dry eye syndrome. Furthermore, the long-term use of artificial tears with preservatives would damage the corneal epithelial cell layer and possibly lead to corneal ulcers and perforations. If you are experiencing dry eye syndrome, do not diagnose yourself. Schedule an appointment with your ophthalmologist. Dry eyes can be cured only if you receive individualized treatment specifically for the root cause of your dry eye. Alright everyone, I hope I did a decent job at explaining dry eye syndrome. If you suspect you have dry eye, I will provide you with a QR code. So if you scan this code, it will lead you to a dry eye questionnaire called Ocular Surface Disease Index, developed by Allergan, so that you can self-test dry eye syndrome at home. The questionnaire has 12 questions and 3 subscales: ocular symptoms, vision-related function, and environmental triggers. You will rate your responses on a 0 to 4 scale, with a 0 corresponding to none of the time and 4 corresponding to all of the time. A final score is calculated, which ranges from 0 to 100. Scores 0 to 12 are normal. 13 to 22 represent mild dry eye disease. 23 to 32 represent moderate dry eye disease, and scores greater than 33 represent severe dry eye. This questionnaire can also help your doctor better assess your subjective experience of dry eye symptoms to produce more objective and reproducible data that can be used to better manage your symptoms. So that's it for today's video. If I make a mistake in the video, leave it in the comment section so I can see it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and drop down a like if you haven't. In the future, I will make a few videos on the best artificial tears for dry eyes. Are you excited? Take care of yourself and be well.